What's more fun, more challenging, starting up a company, or being an entrepreneur, or running for political office?
Wow, it depends on the office, I will say. I thought that being the CEO of a startup might prepare me for running for office, but it turns out that as a candidate, people want to know more about you, like you become the product, and there's nothing that can prepare you for that. So if that sounds good to you, feel free to run for office.
Okay, so wait, then running a company, starting up a company,
no thanks to political office.
Are you done with politics?
I'm too young to be done with politics. And even what we're doing with Mobile, we're trying to lower people's cell phone bills, which strikes me as something that's kind of tangential to politics.
Right.
It's something that, is touching policy. But I'm sure I'll run for something again at some point.
We're going to get to Mobile in just a minute. And like you said, there is this idea of actually getting people to use their phone less, which is really interesting. I want to go back to this idea of you and Elon teaming up to create a third party to upend America's political system. Are you talking to him right now about that?
We are in touch to this day. He did endorse me in 2020, and his team and I share many people in common in our networks. Stay tuned, really.
Well, some folks would argue that he has changed a lot since 2020, or at least his positions have changed a lot. And in fact, in 2024, he said he wasn't going to even get involved in the presidential race. And then he did, to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars, and even serving as a special appointee in the administration. Politically, are you aligned with him?
I'm aligned with anyone who thinks that the current system is not working, that the two-party system is designed to not actually deliver results or solve problems. And there are times when Elon has definitely had that point of view. He's looked up and said, we need something new.
Right.
And it's going to take, I'd say, a real coalition of Americans that might not line up along traditional politics to make that case.
Do you agree with all the things he did under Doge?
I do not agree with everything he said he did under Doge.
Have you and he talked about that?
We talked about the current mission, which is to try and improve the American political system to a point where it actually seems both problem-solving and responsive.
What do you think is most broken? Is it the money in politics and politicians worrying more about making sure they get reelected rather than listening to their constituents?
In a word, incentives, which is that if someone does the right thing, they're probably shortening their political career. If they go along with what their base wants, they might have a lifetime appointment.
Well, so it seems like the easy answer to that is term limits.
That is a very popular answer, one that I endorse. 75% of Americans think we should have term limits because they don't want folks heading to D.C. and squatting there for decades.
Is a third party likely?
It's not just likely, it's real. I mean, we have dozens of elected officials around the country right now because it turns out that there are tens of thousands of local elected offices that are nonpartisan. And that can be mayors, that can be county executives, that can be city council or board of ed. So the Ford Party is racking up wins all over the country as we speak.
But we really still have a Congress that's like, we're divided between the Republicans and Democrats. Like, that's how we divide things still.
And this is the fascinating thing. How many U.S. senators would you need to form a fulcrum in this divided time? Maybe 3, maybe 4. And there are 2 senators who already are independents. And you can see something similar happening in the House. It would be a slightly larger number. It might be 6 or 8. So you don't need an upstart movement like Forward to win 51 Senate races. You need us to get 3 or so. And that, I think, is going to happen sometime in the next 3 or 5 years.
Do you think within your lifetime there will be a president who wins, who is not a Democrat or a Republican?
Oh, yeah, I do. And I will point people to a guy named Mike Duggan, who's running for governor of Michigan right now, 3rd-term mayor of Detroit, sky-high approval ratings because he turned that city around. He's running for governor, and he said, look, it's not Democratic or Republican. That's the future of politics in this state. It's independent. And right now, he's the front runner. So there's no reason why someone can't make that similar case nationwide. It might even be Mike Duggan.
Well, I understand the politics of it. What I don't understand is the structure of it in the primaries and how that would actually work and actually get past the primaries.
Oh, I love this question so much. Imagine this. Imagine a primary where Mike Bloomberg, sorry, I keep name checking you, Mike. Mike Bloomberg, Mark Cuban, Matthew McConaughey, Oprah, whomever your favorite flavor of independent is, runs in a primary that every American can vote in on their smartphone, as opposed to waiting to hear what Iowans and South Carolinians think. And then you'd have tens of millions of Americans saying, I like Cuban, I like this person. And that would be genuine lowercase d democracy. And there is nothing stopping that from happening in 2028, in 2032. The technology is obviously mature and the will is there if you look at the numbers.
So why doesn't it happen?
Maybe it will happen in 28. All it takes is one major figure stepping forward and saying, hey guys, I'm running as an independent and this is how we're going to choose. And by the way, if you have Mark Cuban decide to take that challenge, then you'd have a whole dozen other people following in his wake.
Do you think he's going to run? Do you talk to him about it?
I do talk to Mark, and let me say that Mark has definitely thought long and hard about running for president.
All right, tell us about Mobile. You announced it in September. Tell us about it, because it does sound like it's a little bit different than a lot of our cell carriers.
Imagine this. Imagine a carrier that actually paid you to doom scroll a little bit less. $50 for unlimited, which is less than what 90% of Americans are paying, and will give you up to $20 cash back based on your data use. So you know that extra time on X or Instagram, you're actually costing yourself a smidgen of money, and it's an incentive for you to put your phone down. Mobile, we're also having offline parties around the country for people to log off, touch grass, and come look at each other's faces.
Wait, I think I hear parents around the world rejoicing.
But use the phone to vote, but don't use it to just doom scroll.
Yes. Look, I'm a heavy phone user, and I got money back from Nobile, so you know if I get money back, anyone will. But I think it's necessary to operate. But I also know there's such thing as too much of a good thing. And
right.
Have I gotten anxious or depressed based upon staring at the screen for too long? 100% yes.
Can you take us into the relationship that you have with T-Mobile? It's an MVNO, mobile virtual network operator. It's like a Mint Mobile, for example. They're the rise of these independent, they lease the spectrum, lease from a traditional operator. How does that relationship work?
Love the question. So we went out to the folks at T-Mobile and said, hey, we'd love to make data available to the American people at closer to true cost, like Mark Cuban did with generic drugs and cost plus drugs. And T-Mobile, because they're actually innovative, they thought, you know what? We're actually going to work with you to make this possible because it's going to be good for consumers. And they liked the better relationship with technology angle. And so they have lent us or leased us spectrum or data that we can then sell to the American people at much closer to true value. Because if you think about it, why are Americans spending $83 a month on our wireless when Europeans are spending $40? I had a friend who worked in London. He came back and got sticker shock when he went to the wireless store. And when you reflect on why that is, we all know why that is. It's because you have carriers that are paying $20 billion in dividends and raising prices while not actually investing in their networks.
What are your expectations in terms of ramp up and folks signing on?
We've already doubled some of our early projections. People are responding very well to the Nobile Mobile brand and mission because 9 out of 10 of us, and I'll use myself as an example, listeners will be able to relate to this. I was spending $140 a month on Verizon for years. I've been a Verizon customer for 25 years, never questioned it. I joined Verizon because they had the best network. And then I looked up and years had passed and I was like, wait, what am I paying for? So now I took my bill from 140 to 46 or so, and everything works better than ever. So that's the kind of experience people respond to as soon as their friend tells them, yo, I've done this and it's real.
So can you tell us how many people are signed on?
We're growing every hour. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Can I blow up your experience with the MVNO?
You can blow me up.
Okay.
Yep.
So
go ahead, do it.
So Carol and I have spent a lot of years together. We talk about everything, including cell phone plans. And a few years ago, she decided to move away from one of the big carriers and sign up for an MVNO. It didn't work.
We ran out of data.
And how do you?
And it got pretty messy.
And did you get throttled too? So like your data would be slow. There were
it was very slow, and we were myself and my daughter were complaining to my husband. He's like, I don't know what your problem is. And then it hit him, and we were not happy.
I am begging you to try Nobile Mobile because I see the data throughputs and we do not slow it down. It's truly unlimited. If you give us $50, that month, unlimited, all you can eat data as fast as you can find.
So why can you do that, but T-Mobile can't offer that, or Verizon can't offer that, or AT&T can't offer that?
Cellular or somebody.
I mean, you'd have to talk to some of those other companies.
But you work with T-Mobile. You're literally using T-Mobile spectrum.
I actually, it's a great question. What it is, I'm going to say, it's like it's a company approach. So from our perspective, we're on a mission to delight consumers and make sure we build a better product and a better offering. And you know what's not building a better offering? Slowing you down at the end of the month because you've gone through some arbitrary data cap. It's truly unlimited, and we can do this quite profitably.
You know what we did? We're not on them anymore.
We switched back.
I'm begging you to go, because your impulse to look at it was right. I'm begging you to check out Nobile Mobile.
I'll bring it home to the family, Andrew, and we'll discuss it. What are the implications?
I will say I'll give you wireless for free for a year.
No, not allowed. Not allowed to accept, Carol.
Have you met Bloomberg? We don't do that.
Yeah, no, you guys are very buttoned up. It's true. I apologize.
Seriously, just got a minute left here, and I want to go back to politics. The implications of kind of our political world right now. I don't want to point fingers or anything. We were divided when we had a Democratic president. We've been divided with a Republican president. What are the implications of this, and do we find a way out of it?
Yeah, the polarization is getting worse and worse. The shutdown is an emblem of that. I've looked at the numbers, and the trends aren't good. And so really the question is, how do we get out of this? And it's a very, very short list of things that could happen. Number one would be a miraculous restoration of one party or the other to some degree of common sense, which if you look at it, doesn't seem like it's in the offing. And then number two is that 50% of Americans who self-identify as independents raise their hands and say, you know what? I want something new. I want something different. And it's America. We can build it. Mike Bloomberg, you would be our patron saint. I'm on your airwaves right now.
Michael Bloomberg, of course, the founder and head of Bloomberg LP, home of Bloomberg TV and Radio and Bloomberg Philanthropies.